These rare Hollywood photos were too bold for their time. Censored, buried, nearly forgotten. Even the laughs from legends like Buster Keaton were kept behind closed doors. This photo was too hot for 1940s Hollywood, banned, censored, and unforgettable. Jane Russell's sultry pose made headlines before the movie even hit theaters. Charlie Chaplin, the comedy legend, secretly married 16-year-old Lita Grey in 1924. The scandal exploded into one of Hollywood's most shocking and expensive divorces. Sophia Loren redefined sex appeal in the 1950s: elegance, curves, and unapologetic confidence. Gloria Swanson, silent film's ultimate diva, peers through lace like a jungle cat. This 1924 portrait whispered scandal and allure. 1953. Audrey Hepburn, fresh-faced and luminous, becomes Princess Anne in Roman Holiday. A role that didn't just launch her career, it launched a new kind of grace in Hollywood. Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds, and Gene Kelly, a legendary trio lighting up Singin' in the Rain. She was cinema's first Mexican goddess, radiant, fearless, unforgettable. In Bird of Paradise, 1932, Dolores Del Rio burned onto the screen like fire. Was it love, or the most scandalous publicity stunt in pop history? Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie's kiss at the VMAs was just the beginning, but this photo said even more. Clark Gable and Vivien Leigh, timeless in Gone with the Wind, an iconic embrace from Hollywood's most legendary romance. Dorothy and the Wicked Witch, an unforgettable showdown from The Wizard of Oz, 1939. Their legendary roles defined good and evil for generations. Lupe Velez wasn't just a Hollywood firecracker, she exploded stereotypes on screen. This portrait captured her at the height of fearless stardom. Donna Reed and Frank Sinatra hold their Oscars close, a career-defining moment, sealed in gold. It was the spring of 1954. Barbara Lamar, the silent era's most exotic star, daring a cobra headdress in 1922. Beauty, danger, and a life that burned too fast. Hollywood's first scandal was no joke, it wrecked a comedy king. Fatty Arbuckle stood trial 3 times for Virginia Rappe's death. Acquitted, but never forgiven. Anita Page, late 1920s, elegance that defied the rules before Hollywood covered up. Charlie Chaplin and Jackie Coogan peek nervously around the corner in The Kid, a moment of mischief, fear, and pure silent era magic. Behind the fame, a mother's quiet moment. Barbara Lamar with her only son just before tragedy struck. 4 legends, 1 unforgettable film. Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and James Stewart shine in The Philadelphia Story, released in 1940. Jean Harlow was Hollywood's original bombshell, bold, brazen, and adored, but behind the glitz, a tragedy loomed. Lucy and Ricky share a laugh in their iconic kitchen, pure classic charm. In 1953, Lucille Ball beams with joy, holding Mike and Joe Mayer, the twin toddlers who played Little Ricky on I Love Lucy, a tender moment behind the scenes of America's favorite show, Mom. In early 1960s New York, Marilyn Monroe shares a moment with Steve Smith, President Kennedy's brother-in-law, a rare photograph where Hollywood glamour meets quiet political power. She was the most beautiful woman in Hollywood, but what the world didn't know, she also helped invent Wi-Fi. Elizabeth Taylor, radiant in a rare maternal moment, bottle feeds baby Liza Todd. Her sons and husband Michael Todd look on. Bogart in High Sierra, 1941, where his legend as Hollywood's tough guy truly began. Behind the scenes of Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean laughs with Natalie Wood and leans in close to listen. Off camera, He was quieter, a racer, a thinker, and still just a boy in many ways. Mae West didn't just break hearts, she broke courtroom norms. When sued for profit sharing, she faced the judge with her signature confidence. Rita Hayworth sizzles on screen in her unforgettable performance of Put the Blame on Mame, the defining moment of Gilda and one of classic Hollywood's most iconic scenes. Clara Bow, America's original It Girl. Off camera in 1921, she looks straight into fame, unaware how far it would take her. In 1959, Cary Grant runs for his life in North by Northwest, a Hitchcock classic, with James Mason and Eva Marie Saint turning up the tension. A brief, golden moment, Marlon Brando and Grace Kelly share a kiss backstage at the Oscars. Before Hollywood censors had power, Theda Bara ruled the screen as Cleopatra, draped in danger, pearls, and pure seduction. Marlene Dietrich defied Hollywood in Morocco, 1930, wearing a man's tuxedo and top hat with effortless elegance. Clark Gable and Vivien Leigh, timeless in Gone with the Wind, an iconic embrace from Hollywood's most legendary romance. America's sweetheart fell in love on set and lost her country's love. Bergman's affair with Roberto Rossellini during Stromboli, 1950, got her denounced on the Senate floor. Behind the scenes of Gilda, Rita Hayworth and Glenn Ford share a quiet moment. Their off-screen rapport added magic to their on-screen chemistry. At 21, Sophia Loren sits in a stunning dress, gaze fixed on a color portrait that foreshadows her rise in Pane, Amore. Hollywood glam met humanitarian grit. Dolores Del Rio and Claudette Colbert sorted shoes for war refugees far from the red carpet. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy team up in Pat and Mike, a classic romantic comedy from 1952. Gene Kelly, dancing joyfully through the rain, a timeless moment from Singin' in the Rain, 1952, a musical masterpiece defined by his charm, rhythm, and iconic choreography. Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart in a still from the classic romance Casablanca, released in 1942, timeless romance that captured hearts forever. A teen kills for her mother. Lana Turner's daughter stabbed Johnny Stompanato, Hollywood's real-life noir. Sophia Loren and Anthony Perkins melt into each other's gaze in this still from Desire Under the Elms, filmed in 1958. A moment heavy with passion and tension. Two of silent cinema's greatest stars, captured in one unforgettable moment. Rumors of love, rivalry, and heartbreak swirled behind this iconic image. In 1962, Dorothy Dandridge stood not in Hollywood but in Belgrade. Filming a forgotten epic, she radiated global stardom far from the spotlight. In 1933, Cary Grant and Randolph Scott, two rising stars, sing side by side, off-screen friends in perfect harmony. On the set of High Society, Louis Armstrong plays, while Grace Kelly listens with quiet awe. This 1956 musical brought jazz royalty and Hollywood elegance into the same golden frame. She was Hollywood's brightest star, and this photo was taken just before everything changed. Weeks later, Carole Lombard died in a plane crash that shocked the nation. For decades, no one knew the truth. Judy Lewis was Loretta Young's adopted daughter and secretly Clark Gable's child. She collapsed at the funeral of the man she claimed to love, but was it grief or performance? On set in 1958, Paul Newman takes a quiet moment with The New Yorker. Cool on the outside, thoughtful within. Newlyweds Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner share a kiss at the 30th Academy Awards, 1958, pure Hollywood magic. She smoked, swore, seduced, and never apologized. Tallulah Bankhead in her rawest form. Humphrey Bogart with his wife Lauren Bacall and their children in 1956, a rare moment of calm away from the spotlight.